My chosen activity is to create a build and measure block center designed to introduce children aged between 4 to 5 years to the maths concept of measurement. This activity is play-based, which the Early Learning Years framework places a specific emphasis. The block and measurement area provides numerous opportunities for children to use whole numbers when counting. The materials provided to measure will be different shapes, and this is where children can apply spatial thinking to problem solve how they can measure the height or length of the object. The EYLF's perspective is that children learn through quality pedagogy. They develop their thinking, language, imagination, speaking, and listening skill through creative play. This activity provides young, curious children a holistic environment with access to a variety of materials and blocks where they can choose which ones to use and will allow them to influence their own play and learning naturally. One of the ways children learn is through collaboration with their peers. An example in this activity is when children take turns measuring each other's height. The National Research Council Committee on Early Childhood Mathematics has founded research which states when children are exposed to numeracy through hands-on practical and play-based experiences, they are more likely to engage meaningfully and successfully. The EYLF outcome 4.2 is evident in this activity as children are developing a range of skills and processes such as problem solving, inquiry, experimentation, hypothesizing, researching, and investigating. The children will experiment with a variety of blocks, a range of everyday objects, as well as a variety of measuring tools, such as rulers, flexible sewing tape measures, and construction measuring tapes. They can manipulate the objects and different styles of blocks and investigate cause and effect, such as when measuring their height in Lego blocks has a different outcome to when they measure their height using wooden blocks. In this activity, children are collaborating with each other when they talk mathematics and participate in mathematical discussions using the language of measurement. For example, my shoe uses more blocks than yours because it is longer. This activity links to the EYLF outcome 5.1. Children interact verbally and non-verbally with others for a range of purposes. If a child questions why they use less blocks when measuring their shoe compared to their friend's shoe, then they are showing feelings of confusion. The educator or peer can explain why and allow the child to construct knowledge and learn another way of thinking about different ideas and help clarify their way of thinking. Children interact with their peers continually throughout this activity. They explore exciting ideas, mathematical concepts, clarify and challenge thinking. For example, children might challenge their peers to measure something bigger in size, or they may try and come up with ideas together on which item would make the tallest tower of blocks. Children will begin to demonstrate their increasing understanding of measurement and number using mathematical language to describe size, big or small, length, long or short, and names of numbers. As the blocks and items provided to measure will be familiar from their home life, the children will have the confidence and capacity to attempt the activity. Upon assessing the situation, children will determine if they need to apply knowledge and math skills, such as addition or subtraction, to make the blocks and item equal in height or length. Children who develop a stable counting sequence when building with blocks demonstrate they are becoming a numerate individual when they understand that the last number counted is the number of objects in the set. When a child says, "I need 2 more blocks to make it the same height," they are involving number and addition. In order to work out how many blocks are needed to complete the measuring, children will have conversations involving addition, subtraction, and fractions. Sorting objects, measuring and calculating amounts, arranging blocks, identifying shapes, and naming numbers are all examples of mathematical thinking. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development proposes children learn while they are engaged in manipulating the physical environment. In this activity, the blocks, measuring tools, and the space needed to build are all being manipulated by the children. Mary Jo Pullman believes block building is basic to developing an understanding of spatial relationships. Children are exposed to spatial thinking when stacking blocks on top of each other, when connecting the Lego and Duplo together correctly so there are no gaps between the blocks, and when measuring an item which does not have perfectly straight sides to build up against. Lev Vygotsky developed the concept known as the zone of proximal. the area between where the child is independently operating now and where they are headed with assistance from the educator. For example, when a child is able to perform simple counting when working with peers, but is frustrated when trying to count alone. By guiding the child to use strategies and tools, they are able to fortify knowledge and eventually count independently. Children might ask you to provide them with specific items they wish to measure. This enables them to use their own ideas to make their play more interesting. To introduce STEM skills, have the children use digital cameras or iPads to take photographs of their structures, as this will introduce technology into the activity. Over time, ask the children to try and estimate how many blocks they think will be needed to measure an item. Record the estimate, then record the actual amount of blocks. Thank you for listening to my presentation.